Hey, I'm ALBO, and I love JDM cars and culture. In each episode in this multi-channel crossover series, I'll go on car adventures around Japan with Captain Bradford from JDM Masters, along with our car club and fellow YouTubers Japonic, Samit, Dustin Williams, and others. Join us as we do car stuff, explore Japanese culture, and show you what it's really like in the land of the rising sun. This is our JDM life, and we are the Super JDM Bros.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りしました。
Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Super JDM Bros. I'm with a Super JDM bro from all the way back in the States, and today we are here with his car, the Autec S14. In this series of videos, we are here at Hakone. We are actually doing a bunch of review videos, but also just hanging out with a few of the guys from the base. We're going to be talking to them about their experiences living here in Japan and working here through the American military, and hopefully we can glean some advice and information and also get a sense of what driving their cars is like. Let me flip the camera over to you, and you can just introduce yourself.
Okay. Hey guys, I am David. I live here in Japan, part of U.S. military over at Yokota Air Base. I've been on here for about a year and a half now on a 3-year tour, so it's been crazy so far. Get to do things a lot of people don't get to do.
You are lucky enough to
Yeah,
have this very, very special car.
yeah,
So
for sure.
this car is not just any S14, right?
Right, it's not. I actually didn't know about these until I found it. I was looking for a 14, and this one came up. It's actually an Autec MFT S14. From what I understand, there were only a couple hundred made, and basically they took a later model S14 chassis and they kind of threw a bunch of random parts on it. There was suspension, exhaust, bigger injectors. They actually tuned the motor to match the S15 Spec R motor. So it's pushing about 240, 247 is what they're supposed to come with.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit more than the stock S14 K's edition. And as you can see, the big wing is actually from the factory. Autec was inspired.
That giant, you're telling me that
Dude,
giant wing.
I swear.
Are you trying to fly with that?
I could. I can try. We can try right here.
I mean, you are an Airforce mechanic.
True,
That's
true.
right. And so that does look like it would generate a significant amount of lift if it was flipped upside down, I think.
True. Yeah, we can flip it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I heard that Autec was inspired by the F40 actually, and they kind of wanted to do the same type of style, so they threw a huge wing on it. I thought it would be too big, but it fits the car. It's weird. It's crazy how it works.
So can you walk us through the car? Can you tell us some of the parts that you like about it, your favorite
Sure.
parts, and yeah, anything special from it?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we can start off just styling in general. I've always loved Silvia's. I feel like a lot of people have their favorite S13s, 14s, 15s. 14s just caught my eye. I love the front ends, just the Koki front end, and I had to have one. Yeah, this specific car came basically stock. I was lucky enough to find it all original, came with all the components that Autec threw on it. But it's an old car, so like 22, 23-year-old car just needs upgrades, needs replacements. So I went ahead, I threw some D-Max Super Street coilovers on it, get rid of the OEM suspension that was pretty blown out, new brakes, new rotors, you know, all the usual maintenance stuff. I kind of upgraded, brought back to life.
What was the upgrade or kind of refresher thing that you did that made the biggest difference?
Honestly, the suspension. The car rides really high stock, so just throwing that on there, dropping it a little bit, not too low. I'm not trying to scrape out here because we all know it's hard to drive in Japan with really low cars. But definitely suspension upgrades, especially out here in the mountain roads and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You need to throw some good stuff on there so that you're hitting all the curves.
And do you take it to the track or do you go drifting with it?
I haven't been. That was the idea behind it, but it's hard to buy a nice OEM car and then take it to the track.
It is.
So with this one, I might just keep it how it is.
It's gorgeous. So is this whole
Appreciate it.
body kit, is it, that's from the kit? That's from the Autec kit?
Right, exactly. The biggest difference is it's kind of small things, but like the fog lights, the bumper's different, the wing, and then some of the trim is different for this specific car.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I'd never heard of
that-
this particular model. So
Right, a
this
lot of
one
people
is,
haven't.
and especially the wing. The wing is really what sets it off for me. I mean, it is massive. I was saying off camera that really reminds me of Keisuke's FD in Initial D with the massive speed wing, and Takumi comments, he's trying to fly with that thing, and that literally looks like the same height. Like that wing is massive for a stock OEM wing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And what about the interior? Let's see. Let's get this in here. So you know what I really love about the S14 is I feel it really encapsulates that 90s kind of feel, you know,
Right.
the vibe, all the way from like just the dash plastics to the way the kind of this fabric,
Yeah,
this,
exactly.
the feel and texture of it and the shape of the seat,
Yeah.
the leather wrapped shift knob.
The confetti carpet. is my
Yes,
favorite.
yes, me
I
too, me too.
love it.
Confetti
Love it.
carpet. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
It just has a certain aesthetic to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Is that kind of like for you as a as a JDM guy?
Right.
Is that aesthetic important to you, or are you kind of like, this is kind of dated? I wish it was a bit more up to date.
No, I love it. I love like the ideas that they came up with. Everything that they put out on the market was just at the time like revolutionary. I love to enjoy what other people put a lot of work into, and this car basically 100% stock when I got it. So
Is it just me, or is the mileage like shockingly low
Oh,
for
yeah.
a Sylvia?
yeah, we're at like 78,000 kilometers.
That's like 55 or something thousand kilometers,
Yeah.
right? Like
It's like
50,000
50,000 miles.
miles, right?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, that is
So-
very, very low for a Sylvia.
Yep. That's honestly why I bought it. The car was just super clean, a limited car, low miles. I couldn't pass it up, so I've just been cruising with it for a few months now.
Cool.
We're gonna see what else we do.
If you are comfortable to share like the price of how much like it went for, yeah, like, is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's not worry.
I mean, like a really, really clean example like this, I feel, is more and more becoming exceedingly rare to come by.
Right, exactly.
And so, you know, if you have, like, I think maybe you didn't even know about this particular model, and then you bought it, and then, or maybe it popped up, and then you researched the spec,
Yep.
and you're like, oh, this is rare.
Yeah,
and you snapped it
exactly.
up. And then later you realize it was incredibly rare, and it was incredibly kind of rare find. Was it
Exactly.
kind of like that?
It definitely was. Yeah, I didn't know what it was until I was actively looking to buy it. So I was hoping to keep it below 2.3 million yen, which is around 22K, 22,000 US dollars. And I actually, with like delivery fees and then like the dealer fees and everything, it came out to right around that. I paid about 2.2 million yen.
Nice.
Yeah, so
nice.
it was like 21 overall with
Wow.
everything included. So it
So-
came with JCI and everything, so I didn't have to worry about it.
I feel like that's a really good deal.
Yeah, for what they're selling for now, especially like 14s and 15s, the prices are just skyrocketing.
Out of control. S15s are just, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
like good luck getting a spec, which one is it?
The R?
RS?
Yeah.
R? Yeah. For me, I'm definitely interested in picking up Sylvia in the future as well.
Oh, really?
I would
That'd be
love
awesome.
to get, like, as kind of like a side series to the channel to get into drifting.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
And I love the S14 chassis. It was the first car that I experienced going sideways in.
Oh, really? Oh,
Definitely. Why don't we take it for a quick little spin? Maybe let's just go a little drive down, and then like maybe going back up. I'll keep asking you some questions while we're
no
driving,
worries.
and then hopefully I'll get a chance to drive on the uphill.
Yeah, we can switch off.
Cool. Super hard to find a hole
No,
sometimes.
you can move the seat and stuff. My wife is pretty small, so she
Oh
just
no,
kinda
I'm
sits up close.
comfortable. So guys, we're gonna go down Hakone Skyline, and this is one of the best drives in Japan, I would say. Have you ever driven here?
For sure. Yeah, I've been down here.
Oh, it's spectacular,
before.
right? It's really spectacular.
It's crazy. It's amazing that roads like this even
It
exist.
is. So I'm gonna flip the camera around so you don't have to stare at our ugly mugs.
I know.
And you can enjoy this view. Look at that. So we'll talk about it as we go down. Did you grow up watching Initial D or anything like that?
Yeah, I definitely watched it growing up a couple times over. It's weird being here and actually driving on the roads that these shows are based on.
It really is,
the
isn't
anime
it?
is based on.
Because it's almost like you're bringing a childhood dream to life,
Right,
isn't it?
right, exactly. It's very surreal.
Yeah, that's the word I love to put for it. I mean, like when you're going down this road, especially because this part of Hakone is kind of private,
Yeah. Right.
and like a lot of car enthusiasts come here on Saturday and Sunday mornings just to go for cruises.
Yeah.
And actually, the police don't really come out here very much. It is kind of, in a way, known as a place where people come to relax, go for drives, go for Sunday cruises, and enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's cool because the Japanese folks, they don't go too crazy. You know,
Right.
they drive respectfully and
Yeah,
they enjoy the
exactly.
views. And like, look at this amazing view we have over here on the side.
It's
So
just-
for you, what is it like to drive this particular car on this road?
It's so I've jumped around in cars. Back in the States, I've gone from an S2000 to an FRS, and then now I'm here in the Silvia.
Which did you like better? Did you like the S2000 better or the FRS
Yeah.
better?
No, definitely the S2000. Still my all-time favorite car that I've owned. Even having a car like this, S2000 still my favorite car. I'm gonna own another one eventually.
Nice, good answer.
Yeah.
For you, what made the S2000 so special? I know we're driving the Silvia as we're going down
Right.
down
That's all
Hakone.
good.
So maybe you could talk about like what is it like in comparison while driving down a road like this?
Right. So the S2000, I feel like it's built to do this, but what I love about it is it keeps you on your toes. It's a very, it's you
Right.
have to be, you know what I
Not
mean?
to say
Like-
that it's unforgiving, but it
Right.
definitely is a car that forces you to pay attention,
Right. Exactly.
and it makes the driving like not easy but rewarding.
Yeah. Exactly. And
What about this car?
this one is honestly I feel like it's very well planted. It has enough power to do what you need to do here on the mountains. Because, you know, a lot of people in the States are going for like 1,000+ horsepower, but I feel like you don't need that, especially out here.
Right.
So just enough to have fun driving is all you could ever ask for.
I always say that Japanese cars are like, I always say that these roads are the natural environment of Japanese cars.
Right.
You know, it seems like there was a reason that cars from this 90s era were limited to 275 horsepower.
Yeah.
Because it is really a very adequate amount of power for winding roads like this.
Mhm.
It's kind of different from back home, right? Where
Oh, definitely.
people want the big power so they can get those quarter-mile times.
Yep.
Like you have a fast car in a straight line.
Yep.
But here, it's all about the curves.
Yep. Exactly. And that's what makes driving fun. It's just
Absolutely.
hitting the corners.
Hitting the corners, getting when you're able to find like the maximum speed for a corner.
Yeah.
Like not that we are encouraging,
Yeah,
breaking the
definitely
law.
not. No, we're taking it slow today because
We're taking it slow, but you can still feel the sportiness in the chassis. Like the way it kind of goes into the turn. It really eats up that turn, which is amazing for a car that's over 20 years old, right?
Yeah,
This
for
is from like
sure.
1997, 96?
98. Yeah.
98.
Yep.
Wow, so over 20 years old.
Yep.
And it does still feel like it's relevant in
Right.
2020.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong. It's an old car. There's noises here, noises there.
What don't
It's
you like
not
about it? What are things that you don't like about this car?
That I don't like about it? Honestly, I feel like I haven't owned it long enough to really drive it and find the small things that I don't like about it.
What about stuff like stuff that needs replacing? Because I feel like
Right.
especially with Silvias, I
Yeah.
think the main problem with Silvias, it's very hard to find one that's not janky.
That's not beat up. Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
And if you do happen to find one that's not janky, then that's like, it's like a unicorn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I feel like most of the problems that people have are because they're getting nickel and dime replacing everything, like
Right.
bushings, like rubber things, like
Mhm.
seals, things like that. Very hard to find.
Yeah, definitely. So luckily, they're so popular out here that companies do make a lot of replacement parts for them. So it's not extremely hard to find them, but if you're looking for like OEM replacements or like just stuff in general, it might be a little bit harder. But like you said, a lot of the S14s, 15s out here are kind of beat up. But it's not that people don't take care of them. It's that people drive them. And,
Yeah, that's true.
That's what they're passionate about here is driving
Yes.
their cars.
Well, to be fair, I mean the S14 is one of the chassis. It's the S chassis, right? Which is
Yep.
it's definitely the weapon of choice for drifters,
Right.
and that's why so many of them are in a state of, well, being held together by hopes and dreams, really.
Yep.
But this car, it doesn't seem like it was really driven for with drifting as the
Right.
main motorsport in mind. I mean, usually those cars have like tons of camber and like
Yep.
these crazy wheels
Yeah,
and like body kit that's not match, the paint doesn't match.
Yep, yep,
this
yep.
this what I find really amazing about your car is the fact that not only is it super rare, but it has the original rare aero and it's undamaged.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. When I saw it, like I said, when I picked it up, it was basically 99% stock. So
Aside
I
from
was-
like the suspension.
like the boost gauge.
Oh,
No,
the-
I had stock suspension and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I changed everything out just to kind of bring it back to life because I feel like the car had been sitting for a long time. Someone just kind of enjoyed it for the years that they had it, and then it was just sitting up until it was sold.
Wow.
You know, so I mean, sometimes you get lucky. You find cars like that out here.
I feel like ownership experience of cars like this is really comprised of two components. You have driving the car itself, and then the harder part is actually living in a place where you can actually enjoy it for its intended purpose.
Right.
And we just happen to, through some stroke of luck,
Yeah.
live like 1 hour away from like the best driving roads in Japan.
Exactly.
It's just incredibly fortunate. Skirt. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna step outside, and there's gonna be a little bit better audio. And Dave's just gonna talk a little bit more about himself and his story and his backstory. For me, what I always find really interesting is meeting people, because it's really not about just the cars. It's about their stories and their motivations, and I think that's what brings more like literally life into the car. So Dave, so you're from California.
Yeah, so I was born there, grew up in Texas, and that's when I decided to join. I feel like
So I was born
Yeah.
and then decided to join the military.
Yeah, join
No.
the military. It just
What was the impetus for that decision? That's
Right.
for a lot of people. That's like
That's a big decision.
it is. I mean, you're joining like well, literally the military and going off to war, right?
Right.
Technically, right?
Yeah, so the decision, I feel like it was always planned out. It was in the back of my mind in high school, but you feel pressure to go to college.
Really, to go
do
to
something-
military,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
join,
Mhm.
because you come from a military family.
Not necessarily. No, I don't have too many. Like older relatives have been in, but in my immediate family, I was the first one. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's always been in the back of my mind. It came to the point in my life where I needed to do something. I was just kind of hanging out at home.
Yeah. How old were you at the time?
I believe I was 22.
Okay,
Yep,
so like
22,
after when
23.
people would graduate college.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I went to college for a few years, and I ended up leaving, and that's when I was like, okay, I need to do something.
yeah.
So I went ahead and enlisted. 2015, I left for basic training, and it's been a little over 5 years now
Wow.
in my career. And yeah, since the beginning, ultimate goal was to get to Japan. It's just like one of those lifetime
Oh, it
goals.
was. So that
Yeah.
was kind of like the original goal.
Yeah, for sure. Just to come to Japan. So I saw the military as an avenue for the possibility, and I just kind of went for it. And
That's really interesting. That's kind of one of the things that I was hoping to glean some
right.
information and some advice from you folks, which is like, I think a lot of people have this hope, this idea that,
Yeah.
especially because we see it on social media so much these days, right? Of like,
Mhm.
this is possibly an avenue where folks can come to Japan and then drive their dream JDM cars.
Right.
How difficult is it on a scale of 1 to 10? How feasible is it? Is it like time? Is it connections?
It's so there's a process behind how everything works in the Air Force, and it's honestly, I would say, personal opinion, a lot of luck. You can take avenues that give you a better chance of getting out here, but you have to be in the right career field, just right time, right place, and a position has to open up where you're trying to go,
I see.
and you just have to be in that right position to take
Yep.
that spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So is there like a chance that you would join and then you would inadvertently get yourself shipped off to somewhere that's somewhere
Oh.
you really don't want to go?
Definitely, for sure. So I know a lot of friends I've met over the years have never even been overseas. They've just
Wow.
been stuck stateside. You know, you'll get stuck at a base 6-7 years.
So it's a gamble.
It's
It's a gamble.
It kind of is, depending on your career field. Some career fields can go all over the place, but like in my career field with my buddies' career fields, we're aircraft mechanics. So we are, up until a certain point in our career, restricted to bases that have our aircraft.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got
With that career, were you able to choose that path?
Mm-hmm.
And did you go to school for mechanical like engineering? Or?
That's what I was going to school for, but I joined, and you go through technical training to get you up to par so that you can do your job.
So could you okay, I guess what I'm trying to ask is could you be a useless bum and then one day decide, you know what, I'm going to get my shit together. I'm going to get my life together and I'm going to, you know, like I think for me, for example, I've always loved fighter jets.
Right.
I'm like, man, this is like the pinnacle of human engineering.
Yeah.
It's like our cars, but taken to like the nth degree.
It's
right?
crazy, yeah.
And like you must have so many classified stories you can't talk about. But I guess is it possible for a bum like me? I mean, well, definitely not me because I'm Canadian, but a bum like me in America to come to Japan. Or not even come to Japan, like just follow that career path, get into that field from almost nothing, or do you have to have some background in that?
No, for sure. All you need is a high school diploma, and then I don't know like the technical limitations for joining, but in general, as a U.S. citizen, you can join, and you can. So the biggest thing is going to be you take an aptitude test, and that's how they classify what jobs you can qualify for.
I see.
Yeah, so that's going to be the biggest thing for most people.
So if you're if you are a low achieving but high aptitude bum, so definitely not me. I'm just a bum. Then you have all sorts of avenues which potentially might be open to you.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
if you're a real dummy, like that's
a dummy.
Yeah, like a dummy.
Well, the good thing
like
is
myself.
that so our career field, you actually don't need a very high aptitude score to get into.
Okay.
If you're trying to do what we do.
Yep.
It's not for everybody, I'll say that now. But if you do go this route and you pick an aircraft that has a lot of bases internationally, then you have a good chance of getting out to one of those bases.
Cool. So
eventually.
I guess just to, because this is almost 30 minutes, like with this clip right here. I guess the last question I want to ask before we head back up is, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to folks who are watching this video? Maybe put yourself in your shoes.
Right.
Yeah, you are in your shoes. That's a terrible analogy. But you know, just for people who are watching, let them put. I can't think of the right way to phrase this. But what kind of advice would you give to the typical person you think might be watching this video? Kind of like JDM guy who's maybe a younger guy, maybe like early 20s, who's really interested in Japan, car culture, and sees maybe your experience as being potentially useful for their life.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I'm kind of biased because I am active duty military, but it is a potential route to getting out here. It might be hard for some career fields, it might be easy for some career fields, but I definitely advise to just do your research. Don't jump into it. Don't go join tomorrow. Let the recruiter tell you to pick a certain job. Just hold out until you find what you want. Do the research, what bases that job can go to, how the military works in general, and it's definitely a possible avenue. We're doing it, so it's a possibility for sure.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna hop in the car, and David's gonna give me the chance to drive his car back up to the top of the turnpike, and I'll just give you my impressions of what driving the car is like. All right, guys. It's very exciting. We got a chance to drive up while the road is clear. Whoa. It's exceptionally clear today, actually. I mean, in terms of traffic, there's like almost nobody out. All right, here we go. So rolling forward. Did you replace the clutch?
No.
It still feels good.
It feels good, right?
Yeah.
I was really surprised. There's one thing I was looking at, and I was like, should I do it? But
Here we go. Let's get in front of this Nissan. Actually, no, we'll let him pass. Now we're gonna chase him. This is initial D.
God, here we go. I didn't know it was a 35. Jeez.
So, the throw of the shifter is quite long. So that
Yeah.
the stock throw.
It really is compared to like an S2000 or something, for example.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
So these are Kaiser what's it called? Kendas, right?
Yeah.
KR20s?
Yeah, honestly, these are just some dailies I bought because the OEM wheels were super old and dry rotted. So I picked these up for now. We'll see what I end up getting
Yep.
later on, but
It depends what you want to do, right? I think these are
Yeah.
actually good for drifting. Like a lot of guys will buy these tires for drifting, so
Yeah.
it might be the right tire
Right.
for this car. Maybe KR20s in the back, and then maybe something grippier in the front, like
Right.
RE71s or 88Rs or something, or even like Nankangs. But yeah, I mean, it feels good. It feels quite different from the S2000, like you were saying.
right.
In the sense that there's this greater feeling of weight in the back,
Yeah.
right? The
it's just-
S2000 is notoriously not that it's twitchy like an MR2, but
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
definitely a lot more unforgiving compared to
Exactly, yeah.
a chassis like this, where
Yeah.
it feels very predictable.
Yeah. It's just such a long wheelbase. It's a very long car. It's kind of funny.
This transmission in this is great.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. I mean, like I'm used to the very, very short throw
Yeah,
of the S2000, right? But like downshifting is very, very smooth.
Right.
And if you haven't replaced this clutch, it probably has been replaced, right? Well, actually, I don't know. It's only
would-
a 78,000.
Yeah, I don't
So-
know. It feels really good. I haven't had any issues with it.
And the transmission itself, like the bushings,
Yeah.
it just goes in really, really, really nicely.
Yeah, I haven't had.
Slow back down,
Yeah, you're good.
shift back to. Second gear feels really
What are
nice.
these feels? Yeah, I love second gear. Sometimes I'll just cruise in second for a while.
Yeah, and then like drop
Just
back
hit
down to
boost.
like the speed, so
Yeah.
you get the boost. Yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is spooling up.
It's crazy. This is actually my first
Turbo
car. Yeah.
It's addicting, right? It's intoxicating.
Uh-huh.
It's quite different from, I mean, like you have VTEC in the S2000, which is like a different kind of excitement.
Yeah.
But turbo
Yeah.
cars are also very exciting. Although this one is surprisingly the boost doesn't kick in so hard. It's not like the boost comes on while you're mid corner and you're like spin out.
Right,
In fact, you go
exactly.
to like 0.7 boost, right?
Yep.
0.7 bar.
Yep.
So it's a very reasonable amount of boost.
Yep.
And I think like the engine can take a lot of boost, right? So if you decide to go down that route, or you could just keep it really reliable like this,
Yeah.
which I think is also a really good idea for a unicorn car like this. you
Yeah.
know?
Exactly. Just kind of keep it. Do a few things here and there.
Yep.
But just enjoy the car.
Yeah, definitely. And I think maybe you might even consider just getting if you really, really love this chassis, getting like a missile, like a beater.
Yeah.
Just so you
exactly.
can like keep this car
Mm-hmm.
not stock per se, but
Right.
like reliable and
Mhm.
also near OEM level of reliability
Yep.
and performance.
Exactly.
Because I think there's definitely something to be said about owning and driving the car
Mhm.
at this level of performance, refinement, and also
Mhm.
like the way everything is set up, right?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not built to be like this drift monster.
Right.
It
Mhm.
is built to be a car that, well, when it came out of the factory, it was a performance car, right?
Right.
And like
Yep.
keeping with that, the original ethos of the car, I think is really, really cool.
Yeah. Exactly. Because they built it for a reason.
Right.
So the work and the dedication that went into it, it's something that we should appreciate.
Yeah, I totally
And,
agree. And I like your perspective with that, and
Yeah.
you're not going too crazy.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
like I think sure it can be fun too actually to do stuff like a loud exhaust. You can always like bring it back, right?
Yeah,
Just keep the
yeah.
original stuff.
Exactly.
Let's catch up to the R35 a bit. We floor this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do an e-brake drift, either that or inertia drift. No, but this thing feels great.
It does.
The suspension
It's-
feels great, man.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's so I was saving up for the HKS Hypermax, just
Yep.
kind of something that everyone goes with.
Right,
out here.
everybody does it, right?
Yeah, and I saw these actually at Up Garage, and I was like, I wonder.
Well,
so-
it depends. I mean, like, if you enjoy this ride, like, the ride itself is fantastic
Right.
for cruising,
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
like this, right? But if you want to go to take it to,
if you want to, not even going to the track, but I mean, like, if you want to, like, keep up with guys who are driving really fast on a touge, like, that's, like, another thing entirely, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But if you just want to cruise and just, like, enjoy, like, weekend drives like this, which is totally fine, or if you just want to flex.
Yeah, true.
And that's really what it is, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so you can say, yeah, it's got Hypermax, you know.
Yep.
But, I mean, even if you left this car completely stock, this is really cool.
Yeah,
This is really cool. Yeah, I'm glad I got a chance to drive this, and thank you for giving me the chance to
Yeah,
take
of
this for a
course.
spin.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so we are back, and that was a really good opportunity to drive the S14. And thank you so much, man, for giving
Of course.
for the
Appreciate
chat and
you
for thank
having
you
me
for
on the channel. It's kind of crazy. You know, you meet people out here that are doing this, and it's cool to be part of the community. So
Oh yeah, it definitely is. It's we feel really fortunate and really blessed to be able to experience this. So yeah, man, thank you so much. Wish you well with your car,
Appreciate
and
it.
wish you well whatever you do with it and with your career, and hopefully you stay safe. And yeah, just enjoy the car.
yeah, for sure.
And for you guys, hopefully this was a little bit helpful for you. Hopefully you were able to glean a little bit of insight into not just the car and its history, but life in Japan, and the specifically coming here to Japan as an aircraft mechanic, and what that's like. Also, thank you guys for picking up the merch. I was gonna shout out like the Hunters hoodies over here. They're great because it's really, really cold. Your purchase of merch and stuff really helps support this channel. Yeah, so we'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, and peace out.
Drifting like a video game, but I'm up on changing gears, switching lanes, keep running.